morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. And half the crew is out today, but we're in here holding it down for you anyway. And we got the early risers, got my mom in the house, and of course, Donna and Joe, Jeremy. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Up bright and early if you're out here on the West Coast. Got Wen in the house as well. Yeah, so we might as well break down your team first because y'all were terrible.
I mean, when you have more field goal yards than passing yards, it's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot to not like, but your awesome QB, that's got to be the highlight for you. Good thing you let Darnold get away.
That's a good thing we let Darnold and Jones get away. We had them both. We had them both in the building taking reps last year, and we let them both get away for the trash that we have right now.
Yep. And Joe, we will definitely talk about that game.
And I know a lot of people were kind of willing to be patient with McCarthy, and I am one of them that's like, okay, the guy's a rookie. I'm going to be patient because he's a rookie. Mm-hmm. But at some point, patience goes out of the window when you're only throwing for 86 yards. Like, He's not improving at any point. He's now made 6 starts, and he's, for the most part, regressed in every single start, which is the bigger concern. And now there are tons of reports coming out of Minnesota, whether it's from Minnesota media or just like people that follow the NFC North. Mm-hmm. Kevin O'Connell's seat is not hot. It is boiling. Like, Kevin O'Connell has pretty much lost the locker room at this point because the locker room is basically wondering why he keeps throwing McCarthy out there. Because McCarthy is terrible. You have another rookie on your staff in Max Brosmer, where at this point, throw him out there and see what Max Brosmer can do. He can't do any worse than what McCarthy's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. What you said, he had a negative passer rating, which is impressive.
His total quarterback rating yesterday was like 17.6, but he had like a negative 2.8 something else, which was like the first time in NFL history that somebody finished the game with a negative.
Well, that's because a QBR and a rating, even though they sound the same, aren't.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the rating that can be a negative, but not the QBR.
Yeah. So his rating was negative 2.8, and his QBR was 17.6.
Yeah, see, that's wild to me. But at the same time, watching the kid play, like, he hasn't been good. And the biggest thing is I was really surprised that you didn't keep a veteran in the room when you had college film of him not having to really do much for Michigan, right? And we've talked about it, a bunch of times on this show, is he was an unknown anyway. That was a run-first team with a great defense. He had to go do something a couple times a game. We were all curious how it would translate to the NFL. I mean, I thought he was kind of overdrafted just because you didn't get to see him do anything with Michigan. But at this point, man, he's performing worse than I would have thought he was going to.
And that's the issue too, like what you just said, and that was the biggest concern a lot of people had when he was at Michigan, was he was never asked to do a lot at Michigan because they had such a run-dominant team. The only thing he was asked to do was make the throws that Harbaugh wanted him to make.
Yeah.
But the one thing at Michigan was accuracy was never an issue for him at Michigan. So even if he wasn't asked to throw the ball a lot, he could at least get the ball to where it needed to be when it was asked him to throw the ball. His accuracy has been freaking atrocious.
Sure.
With the Vikings. And like that is the biggest concern. Like the numbers are one thing. Like if he was at least being an accurate passer and then putting up the same kind of numbers, at least you had some sort of a silver lining to take away. Like, okay, he's accurate. He's putting the ball where he's putting the ball where he needs to go, but he's not like stretching the field. But he's not even getting the ball where it needs to go. Like his interception yesterday, another overthrow by about 10 yards. Like he is not even getting the ball remotely close to where it needs to go. And that's the bigger concern because this offense is such a complex offense that it requires the quarterback to do a lot more than what you would think. And that's a problem because I don't think McCarthy is going to be that type of quarterback that can take on such a high load of an offense.
I mean, even with that, when the guy's open, you still got to hit your target.
Yeah. And that's why the Vikings offense looked a lot better with Carson Wentz. Like, granted, Carson Wentz wasn't playing great, but at least Minnesota was putting up 24 to 27 points a game with Carson Wentz because Wentz can stretch the field. Wentz can do a lot more in this offense than what McCarthy can do. And now you have to enter the offseason with the question: do we keep McCarthy long term, or do we need to bring in some sort of a veteran, whether it's Jameis Winston, whether it's like a Joe Flacco type quarterback that's been in the league a long time, where if McCarthy does struggle, you at least have that guy you can throw in there that can stretch the field the way this offense needs to go.
Well, I mean, you're year 2 of his rookie deal, so you have him locked up for another couple of years anyway. But I mean, because there's no real benefit to getting rid of him because he doesn't cost you that much.
The only issue I have is with Kevin O'Connell being on the hot seat, though. If the Vikings say you're supposed to be this great quarterback developer and you're not developing McCarthy the way we thought you would, let's just say he is fired and they bring somebody else in. Who's to say that somebody else even wants McCarthy? They could be like, I don't want McCarthy. I want somebody else. So there's no guarantee, I think, that McCarthy even gets out of it.
No. I'm just saying you don't get rid of him for no reason. Like, if you have a guy that's just like, look, I don't want to work with the kid, then yeah, cool. You trade him, whatever. You get whatever you can for him. But I think at this point, because you can get Wentz back for cheap, I understand he got hurt this year, and that's unfortunate because as soon as he was coming in, I was like, oh, this team just got better, right?
And they were putting up points.
As much as the intangible stuff for Wentz, has largely not been awesome, he can throw the ball. So you give him a great offense like the Vikings have, you knew Wentz was going to ultimately do well. But I've heard that too. Yeah. That Wentz is done for the year.
He's out for the year. But all you need to know about the Vikings offense is when Wentz was the starter, Jefferson was averaging 91.7 yards receiving. Addison was averaging 75 yards receiving. When McCarthy starts, Jefferson is averaging 46 yards and Addison is averaging 30.
Yeah, most of those are after the catch too.
Yeah, that is a problem. Like, you have one of the best receivers in the NFL who, despite his struggles this year, is still top 6 in the league in receiving. I think he's number 6 or number 7 overall, so he's still putting up yards.
Yep.
But this is a guy that should have no problem averaging at least 70, 75 yards a game, and he's only had one 100-yard game this year, and this came with Carson Wentz because McCarthy can't get him the ball.
Yeah. And Donna, you're right. Like, the trade value wouldn't be much for McCarthy, but someone would take a flyer on him. It's the one thing that's just a constant around the NFL. Your first stop, if you don't work, another team, especially if you're a high draft pick, another team is going to be like, oh, you know what? It's that girlfriend. I can change him, right? Like, that's what they look at it as. So he'll get another opportunity, whether or not he can do anything with it, who knows? But he needs to go to a team that, he would probably be fine on the Colts right now because they have a dominant run game and he would be asked to do very little. So, that's where he would be good. It's where we've seen Daniel Jones be good.
Can we do a trade for trade? Give us back Daniel Jones. We'll give you McCarthy.
It's a healthy scratch for fantasy. I feel like you just dump him and open the roster spot.
But I'll do a trade for trade with the Colts. I'll give them McCarthy if they want to give us Daniel Jones, and we'll just sign Daniel Jones to a 3-year deal. I'm fine with that.
I mean, everybody's looked better. So,
yeah, I'm in agreement too to bring in Max Brosmer at this point. Like, I understand he is an undrafted rookie and he might be worse than JJ McCarthy because he really hasn't had a ton of action. Like, I think he's seen like 30 total snaps all year. But the biggest difference with Brosmer as opposed to McCarthy, Brosmer gets rid of the ball quick. McCarthy does not. So even if the play is breaking down, at least Brosmer can get rid of it to at least try to get 4 or 5 yards as opposed to taking a sack for negative 13 yards or just chucking it up for a pick. And that's the key, too, which made their offense so good last year with Darnold got rid of the ball so quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's funny because the offensive line is inconsistent. So holding the ball can be a real problem behind that line.
Yeah. That's why at this point, like, I'd rather have a guy in like Brosmer who gets rid of the ball quick, or even if he's not stretching the field like you want him to do, if he's getting rid of the ball quick and you're getting 5-6 yards per completion, you're going to move the chains. Just keep the ball and just keep possession.
And Jeremy, this is exactly what I was thinking, is he could be agent for the Vikings. So yeah, no, that's a game I didn't get to watch a lot of. I was watching other games, and so it'll be sadly, knowing how badly it went, and I saw clips, right? But I didn't watch it intently. I'll do that one later today. But I'm not excited about watching it.
You don't even have to watch it.
I do, though, because I go on a lot of these shows, and I got to be able to talk intelligently about it. And so I got to be able to see a little bit more of what went wrong. But yeah, it's anytime I see a game like that, and I'm just like, man, it's going to be a rough watch. But it's because I do so many other things than this show that I have to watch all of these things. So a job that I'm applying for because I have an immense amount of free time and constantly, try and murder myself by never sleeping. There is a AI company that is fine tuning their AI broadcast. So it's play by play with AI. I'm curious, what that's going to look like. But basically, they're going to have, people like me watch those games and evaluate the play by play, so that they can try and correct anomalies and stuff like that. So I'll keep you posted if I get this job or not. But I'm applying for it.
Is it in the Washington area?
No, it's remote. It's remote.
So just to show you how bad that.
Yeah, I was being facetious. I have zero free time.
So just to show you how bad the Vikings offense has been with McCarthy at starter, Will Reichert made 2 50-yard field goals yesterday, one from 52 and one from 59. He is 21 of 23 in field goals this year, and I believe he's perfect in extra points, if I remember correctly. But either way, he's got 82 points by himself this year. No other Viking player on the team has scored 30 points.
Yeah.
That shows you how bad that offense is when Will Reichert is nearly tripling your next highest points producer, which is Jordan Mason, who has 5 touchdowns for 30 points.
Yeah, I mean, they struggle to punch it in. Like, it just, Frankie, there's no Pags. There's no Jay. Jay's off for the week, and Pags is traveling this morning. So there's that. Yeah, and we are going to move on from this garbage game.
So how was your game yesterday? I mean, a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so it's funny because it wasn't till the end. I don't know why the Seahawks have a tendency to do this. I think they just hate covering is really the thing. So when it comes to teams around the league, the team I never expect to cover the spread is Seattle, because for whatever reason, they'll be beating the brakes off of somebody and then they'll take their foot off the gas, let them get back in. It'll be a respectable score. Has not mattered who the coach is. It's a Seattle thing, and I don't understand it. But a win is a win, right? So, even if there's a lot of frustration watching them let the Titans get back in this thing, because early on, it wasn't particularly close.
Right.
And yeah, it is. It's almost every game. I don't know why, but yeah. Yeah, so we don't – I try not to have him come on when he's in the airports. Really, it just makes the show hard to hear. Makes for bad TV.
Well, airports necessarily aren't bad. It's the buses. Because when he was in Tampa that one time at the airport was fine. Like, everything was quiet enough around him where it was fine. It's usually the buses that are the worst.
Well, buses are awful. It really depends on the airport.
Yeah.
But, at the same time – consistency, that's why it's like, yeah, you know what, if you're going to be in the airport, it's cool, man. because like some of them, and this time around, he's going through, Dallas Fort Worth, right? So those speaker systems are really loud. It's a really busy airport. If he was in California flying through Bob Hope or something where there's literally 2 terminals, then yeah, maybe it doesn't matter. But if you're going through a major hub, which you are in Dallas, obviously, it basically just kind of makes the show hard to hear. So I try to avoid stuff like that.
Yeah.
You really want to troll Brad? Yeah, I get it.
He won't be here today.
Yeah, Brad won't be here. He's only here if Pags is here because he always watches on his Facebook. So yeah, Brad won't show up.
Two other games I was kind of surprised about this weekend was the Browns and Shedeur Sanders actually did not look terrible.
So Define doesn't look terrible. Like the thing. So here's the thing that's funny is people are acting like he had a monster day.
He didn't have a monster day.
Like he was 50% throwing for 200 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Like, let's not pretend like he went out there and just lit it up. He had a solid day against a terrible team. Yeah. But that being said, it was a win. So you got to like that. He had moments where he looked good. So like, there's plenty to build on. So I'm with it. I'm not trying to, talk down or anything like that. Like that.
I think they just played. I think they just played more
spinning it up. The media spinning it up like he went out there and was like 80% throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like that, that's not the game that was there.
I think they just played it with like more juice behind him. It just seemed like they had a lot more energy with him under center as opposed to like Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah. Donna, we appreciate that you're here. It's Brad does not follow me. And it's probably because I call him out on saying dumb stuff all the time. So,
and then the other game that I'm not surprised at the result, but I'm more surprised in the score was the Rams. And I think the Rams have now solidified themselves as the NFC favorite after just steamrolling the Bucs yesterday. I mean, the Tampa Bay had 70 total yards passing yesterday between Bridgewater and Mayfield. Granted, Mayfield got hurt. But still, they held the Bucs to 70 yards passing and less than 200 yards of offense.
You knew that Mayfield was eventually going to get hurt because everyone on that team has gotten hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they're still in the lead of that division is insane.
Could change tonight if Carolina wins. Carolina wins. They have a half-game lead.
Yeah, they're not beating the Niners. The Niners are getting healthy. Like they're not going to beat the Niners. They're going to get smacked on Monday Night Football.
But Matthew Stafford, with 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, now has 30 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Yeah,
on the year.
And I'm with you. Like I'd like the Panthers to win for fandom reasons, but from like a realistic standpoint, unless this is a trap game for the Niners are going to do just fine.
But yeah, do you think?
I like that you catch strays no matter what.
Yeah, I know, right? like in your opinion, like you've seen obviously a lot of the Rams because they're in the same division as the Seahawks and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think the Rams actually need home field advantage in the playoffs, or are they one of those teams where it doesn't matter just because Los Angeles really isn't home field when you look at the crowd differential? Because usually when you look at the games in LA, there's almost as many road fans there as home team fans. Do you think the Rams are a team that really doesn't care?
Yeah, the Rams definitely don't care because neither LA team really has home field advantage. The problem with LA is they have 2 of every sport.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're not good, or even if you are good, there's still so much other stuff to do. There's tons of nightlife. The weather is good. Like there's so much to go do that sports is sort of a afterthought almost.
Unless you're the Lakers or Dodgers. That's like the only 2 LA teams where it seems like they draw well.
And it's funny because even when they started to struggle, right? If you think back to, 4 or 5 years ago with the Lakers, even they were having a harder time.
Yeah.
Clippers were having better turnout. And that's crazy considering the Clippers have been bad for, ever. And so, even then the Lakers were starting to struggle to get people in and whatever. So it's, there's so much other stuff to do. And they have two of literally every sports team. It's tough to get people to come out. So I don't know. That being said, if you go back and you look at the year the Rams won the Super Bowl, home field wasn't home field for them most of the year. And they were doing work all season. So no, they don't care if they're at home or on the road because every game is kind of on the road.
Right.
But that being said, they're also the team that I thought was going to win this division anyway at the beginning of the year.
I just did not see Stafford playing as well as he's playing. Like, I figured he was going to have a bounce back year knowing that Nakua was healthy this year and Devontae Adams was essentially replacing Cooper Kupp. So I figured he would have a bounce back year. But by no means did I think he'd be at 30 touchdowns and 2 picks right now.
No. He's playing out of his mind. I mean, if it were to all go down today, he probably wins the MVP.
Yeah.
Drake May having a great season.
Jonathan Taylor having a great year.
Yeah, but Taylor, unless he sets the record, won't get it. Like for a running back to get the MVP, you either have to set the touchdown or the rushing record, one of the two, and you got to be close on the other one. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the last 2 running backs to win, that's how they won. So there is a formula for it, but it's pretty rare. That being said, Drake May, although having a great season, doesn't have a lot of great wins. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you're looking at Stafford, they've had a little bit tougher schedule. And so plus, he's playing almost flawless football, which is crazy. But so this may be his year to get it. Plus, it feels like even if it was a little bit favoring May, Stafford wins it just as a legacy award, if nothing else.
Right.
So, you never know what Frankie's on there, Joe. But so it's I don't know. I still think it's too early to really talk about MVPs anyway, just because every team has so many division games remaining.
Mm-hmm. You could be like the Chicago Bears, where stinking 4 of their last 6 games are in the division, and 5 of their last 6 games are all playoff teams, with the Browns being the only exception.
Yeah, well, and that's something I said yesterday morning on a pregame show was I'll be very interested to see what the Bears do down the stretch because now they have some actual teams to play. So.
Yeah, they have Philly on a short week, too, with an angry Philadelphia team. Yeah, like the Bears are the one team especially that I'm very interested with, kind of what you said, especially this week, because the Bears have a short week this week. Not a full short week because they play Friday, but they have a shorter week this week against an angry Philadelphia team that just lost to Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bills are looking like they're in trouble.
Yeah.
It is something that we've said, really since the beginning of the year when they played the Ravens, is we looked at that game and we're like, wow, both these teams really don't play defense very well. And then you watch the Bills, and really, unless Josh Allen is Superman, they aren't very good. So it's, I don't know. Like you're starting to think maybe the Bills are kind of cooked.
Right.
So then you also have to think, is McDermott going to get fired? Because there's a real chance at that now. Became a Bears fan for. Yeah, Friday. Yeah, it's this is always that weird time of year, right? Because I think are they doing another Wednesday game this year? I don't remember.
For
It was before Christmas.
let me go. Like, so week 16, which is the 17th through the 23rd. They have Christmas Day games this year. So 3 games on Christmas Day. It's going to be set up just like Thanksgiving, where you're going to have a 12, 3, and 7.
Okay, yeah.
And it'll be Netflix has 2 of the games, and then Prime has the other game.
Okay, cool. Yeah, now I was not a fan of that. I was not a fan of the Wednesday game. I don't think any of the teams were really either.
Right.
But so I'm glad to hear they're not doing that again. I knew they were going to do the Thursday games, but so yeah. Oh, actually, on that note, if you are doing Pick'em alongside us, my Pick'em show will be at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Oh.
I mean, whatever. I wake up at 4. 9 a.m. is actually still a long time after I wake up. But yeah, so it'd be 9 a.m. on Thursday because 10 a.m. is the first game here on the West Coast. So, and the purpose of that show is to make sure that you get your picks in before they lock and you don't get a 0 for the day or for the week. So there is that.
Fridays should not be for high school because high school season's done. Well, not all of them are done. I think Texas has 2 more weeks left. Michigan's got their state championship game this week, but for the most part, all high school was done last week.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had a solid week there, Joe. Yeah, any high school stuff that's still going on is mostly for like state.
I think it's California, Texas, Florida are the ones that go like into like December, but everybody else is done before December.
Yeah, like we're done. We're done here in Washington.
Ours ended last Thursday, Friday, which is why I wasn't here.
Yep. You'll be cooking. Yeah.
Are you doing a show from your living room on Thursday?
Who?
You said your Pick'em show because it's Thanksgiving on Thursday. Are you doing your show from your living room?
No, I do it in my studio where I'm sitting right now.
Oh. Well, what's the one that you go to? No, what's the one that you go to the bar for?
That one.
Oh, that's what I meant. Like, you're not going to actually go to the bar on Thursday to do what you're just doing.
9 a.m.? No. I'm not like the rest of the dysfunction on this show. I don't drink that early. No, it was funny because they're actually going to be open. So Eric, the owner of Crucible, he's like, oh yeah, if you want, he's like, I'll be here. I was like, yeah, but I won't. Like,
I won't be here that day.
Yeah, I'm not. It's a brewery. It's not even like I'm gonna go like mimosa game it or something like it. I'm not having a beer. At 9 a.m. unless I'm camping or something. Then who cares? Right. But yeah, don't drink. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see, but definitely not that early for me. So yeah, I'll get that show out of the way, and then really most of my Thursday is just going to be getting ready to fly out early Friday morning anyway. So, because I'm a guy and I won't pack until Thursday evening.
I don't pack until the day I leave sometimes.
Well, see, I can't do that because it's a really early flight, so I have to do it the night before.
Gotcha.
Because I'm not going to get up at like 2 a.m. to pack.
I would not either.
Yeah. But that being said, I am looking forward to putting my feet in the sand. So there is that. You'll have to get really small because all I take is a carry-on. I'm a guy. I don't need that many things. The only time I actually really pack a bag is either A, I'm bringing all my gear, which I am not, or I have to pack multiple pairs of shoes because I wear a 13, and a pair of shoes basically fills a carry-on, which is stupid.
Just stupid.
Not a fan, but
Just love the way you said that. Just stupid.
it is. It is. It's all of a sudden you got these battleships going into your carry-on. It's not super helpful.
Right.
I mean, she would laugh. That being said, I did want to play the clip of Kyle Shanahan fielding a question about Ayuk's contract getting voided, which is crazy work to me.
A lot of things get a contract voided. I didn't even know. Honestly, I've never dealt with that in my career. I've been in any building that's had that, so it was unusual. But that's stuff that I can't get into right now.
So obviously, they're not allowed to talk about it because it's something that's still ongoing. Plus, it's probably something that they would defer to John Lynch for anyway. But you sign a contract for, what was that, 140 million?
I think it was like 140
120,
million.
something like that.
Yeah.
You can't show up to meetings to make sure that you get that. Like that is crazy work to me. I mean, you're giving me 120, 140 million, and they're like, you have to show up. You don't have to do anything because you're injured, right? So you just gotta like come into the building and like sit here and pretend like you care. Weirdly, I think I could do that for 30, 40 million a year.
Bo, let's be real. Weirdly, you could do that for $500K a year.
I do it for the nothing that I get off of this show. So,
but I'm just saying, if someone signed you to a contract, like $120 million contract, we'll just be like somebody signed you to like a 10-year, $5 million contract. And you're like, oh yeah, you're like, you don't have to do anything. You get paid $500,000 just to show up to meetings. I'm pretty sure you could make that happen.
I bet I arrive. Yeah. I might even be sitting there thinking, wow, this is stupid. Right. But you know what I'm going to do? Going to sit there anyway.
Right. You know what you're going to do? You're going to laugh all the way to the bank when, you sit through these 4-hour meetings like, wow, that was really dumb. But hey, got a nice check going into my bank account.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I would start to feel discouraged about doing it, I'd just be like, oh, let me just open this bank app. Bam. Oh, you know what? I feel like I'm okay. Like, yeah, $1,000. Like, that'd be fine. Yeah, anything really. Oh, man.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with him next year in free agency, though. Like, what type of deal is he going to get, knowing that the reason why his contract is getting voided is because he's not showing up to meetings, like kind of the one thing that coaches ask you to do during the week, like when you're not practicing, is to show up for a couple 4-hour meetings here or there just for film session.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even go with greed. It just has to be stupidity because he's already getting the money side.
Right.
So it's not like, yeah, I mean, I can't even go on that end of it because all you have to do is participate.
Yeah, it's not greed, it's stupidity because he's getting paid just this year. Now the rest of his contract is gone.
Yeah, all the guaranteed money is toast.
Yeah.
Right? Which is amazing. I mean, yeah, irresponsible for sure. I mean, it's just wild to me. Like, even if it was only $1,000, they're like, hey, we'll give you $1,000 a month if you just show up to this meeting every Monday. Okay, that sounds like the easiest $1,000 I've ever made. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's all that, but I mean, he definitely has an attitude problem, and that's not new. So he had that before they signed him.
Right.
I was actually surprised they signed him to that contract because he was kind of trying to force himself out anyway.
I'm surprised, but at the same time, I don't think they had a choice once Debo left. Now, if Debo didn't leave,
so they signed him before Debo left, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But like Debo was trying, like they were both trying to get out for like a couple of years. Yeah, so I think it was more so like it got to the point where Debo was going to be the easier one of the two to trade.
Yeah, I think if you're that much of a headache, you dump them both.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the one thing I always credit John Lynch with is he is an incredibly smart GM. And he finds talent all over the place. That's why that team, despite the fact that they let all these guys go to save some cap, are still a game out, right? And that's with all the injuries too. I mean, their ability to reload that team has been very impressive. Frustrating as a Seahawk fan, but very impressive. So the thing is, it's like, well, if you got guys that are constantly noisy, and it's something that one of the very few things I agree with Coward on, right, is I don't like noise around a franchise season. You know, maybe you make moves or whatever, but I don't like distraction style noise where players are unhappy and there's unrest within, within all the guys. So when you are having guys like Debo and Ayuk where they're trying to get out and they're visibly a problem, I don't know, but guys go.
Right.
Right on. Take it easy, man. And yeah, both those guys are great. Yeah, I don't know if it's skipping. It might be. I guess. I don't know. But the other one we need to talk about was the Colts and KC. Hey, Brad is here. How about that? So KC and the Colts. KC gets the win. It was a good loss for the Colts, but it was a must-win for KC. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't necessarily a must-win, but it needed to be a good outing. And so to go to overtime, and you have, obviously they were leading early, and so they let that game slip away. They could have won that game.
Should've.
But it was a really good showing against a solid team and something that we needed to see out of a Colts team that is largely beat up on bad teams. So it's those are Brad, jump over to my YouTube if you want to yell at Joe. Because he's trying to do it, but the comments don't bounce between the two platforms. But yeah, so it's I forgot where I was going with it now. But it was a good outing for the Colts, even in a loss, because we got to see him against a solid team as opposed to just beating up on bad teams.
The thing too with that too, and I brought this up last week, when you look at Kansas City's upcoming schedule, starting with next week, this is theoretically one of those games where not only is it a confidence boost for the Chiefs because the Colts are a quality opponent. I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say they're not a quality opponent. But when you look at the Chiefs' upcoming schedule after this, they go to Dallas on Thanksgiving, which, yes, Dallas is coming off of a big win against Philly, but can Dallas do that twice in a row? Or does Kansas City beat Dallas, which I think they can beat Dallas just because offensively I think Kansas City can. Then they get the Texans in Kansas City, which Kansas City will most likely be favored there. They go to Tennessee and they go to the Raiders, which is 2 more wins. And then they have the Chargers and Broncos. So the Chiefs are actually getting to a point now where they got this win to get to 6-5. They can rip off a nice little run of wins here to really get them back into that 10-11 win category where they've typically been under Andy Reid. Now Bo froze. I'm not frozen though. Bo is frozen. So, Brad, I'm going to see if I can find the Baker Mayfield injury for you. I believe it was his shoulder again. He is having an MRI on his shoulder today. So I'm guessing any type of significant injury with the MRI, Teddy Bridgewater will most likely start next week if there's any significant injury to Baker Mayfield, but we've already seen throughout his career that Baker Mayfield is tough as nails. And Baker is going to play until his arm falls off or until the doctor tells him that he physically can't. And knowing that the Bucs are now technically tied for first. Hey!
Man.
Yeah, so I was just answering Brad's question about Baker's shoulder. He's got an MRI set for today.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't know yet.
But knowing Baker Mayfield, he has the MRI set for today, but knowing Baker Mayfield, he is going to play until his arm falls off because he's tough as nails. And he's going to play until the doctor tells him otherwise that he physically can't, especially when you know you're tied for first in the division right now with Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the biggest. Realistically, they will still be solely in first because Carolina is going to lose tonight. But
and the Buccaneers do have help on the way. Chris Godwin, I believe, made his season debut last night. I don't know how he did. And then Bucky Irving is supposed to come back next week.
Yeah.
And then they're expecting Mike Evans back in week 14. So the Buccaneers do have help on the way. So as long as they can just kind of survive the next couple of weeks, they should be at full strength. They're as close to full strength as they can be, basically for their final 3 games.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the thing is the Panthers are also kind of going into a spot where they're going to start playing some good teams. So feasibly, the Bucs will be able to create some separation here because coming up on the schedule for the Panthers, you have Seattle still, you have the Niners, right. They play the Rams. That's probably 3 losses. I think they play the Texans, and then I'm not sure what the other game
probably
is.
Saints and the Falcons because they usually have 18 division.
Yeah, I think it is a divisional game, but again, that's just from memory. So like, there may be a game there that I'm missing, but yeah. So like, realistically, the Panthers are about to fall off a little bit.
Yeah, but like what I was saying before you got froze too is the stretch of games that Kansas City's in right now, they have a shot to rip off 4-5 wins here to get back to the kind of 11-win range, which is where they typically finish with Andy Reid. But to get to that point, obviously going 4-1 their last 5 games, that's going to send them into the playoffs as one of the hottest teams in the AFC, and it's going to make them a matchup that no one wants to see in that first game.
Joe, the Niners somehow are playing pretty decent. They're only a game back from the Rams. And when you think of the amount of injuries that they've had, they're playing pretty good football.
Yeah.
But I am with you. The Eagles have not looked particularly good.
Yeah, and like Brad, my opinion on the Eagles is the Eagles are what they are. They're still one of the top 3 teams in the NFC. They're going to be battling it out for home field when the season's over. Their big thing is their secondary is not as strong as what it was last year. Like, their front 7 is still great. Like, they still have one of the best, if not the best, front 7 in the NFL. They're just not producing in the secondary like they did last year. Like, that was a big part of their success was their secondary last year.
Yeah.
This year, their secondary is getting torched.
I mean, the thing, so Brad, it is at football-talk. So super easy to find, at football-talk.
And the Eagles can't run block nearly at the level that they did last year. That does not help them either because Saquon's not having anywhere close to the season that he had last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's just a lot to not love about this Eagles team. But in fact, Brad, I'll do you one better. I'll just put the link right in the chat. There you go. That's the and if you're subscribed to it, it makes you eligible to win stuff. So there's that. But yeah, no, there's a lot to not like about the Eagles team, but at the same time, if you're an Eagles fan, you got to feel fairly encouraged because at the end of the day, they're not playing great football and still winning mostly. They obviously come up short against Dallas, but if your opponent is awful, can pull off wins because you see each other all the time.
And like going off of that too. Dallas almost had the Eagles in week 1. And had it not been for CeeDee Lamb's drops, you could make a case that Dallas probably does have the Eagles in week 1. So this is one of those games where Dallas, I think, felt like they let week 1 get away, and they didn't want to let this game get away.
I mean, they tried to let it get away. Right. Spotting them 21 points was no joke. So to come back from tying their biggest deficit to come back from ever was pretty impressive. Obviously they get that field goal at the end, but yeah, I mean, pretty crazy. And yeah, I don't know if they have enough to get through the playoffs. They really have to figure out how to get their offense to be consistent. Because, I mean, if you looked at that game yesterday, they just stopped playing offense in the second half. Like the first half, they were rolling, looked great. Second half, it's like they already went home.
Do you know the Giants are the only team in the NFL that are eliminated from the playoffs right now? Yep.
Really? Wow.
Even the 1-10 Titans and 2-9 Jets are still technically alive. The Giants are the only team.
Oh, because of the division being terrible.
The Giants are the only team that is eliminated because they haven't had their bye week yet.
I mean, it makes me feel bad for my friend Nikki, who's a Giants fan, but also a writer. And like at some point, it's got to be tough to write for a team that's just terrible all the time. Or when it's like the Giants, where they're like, okay, we could win this game. And they're just like, yeah, nah, it's cool. Mail it in. We're good. We just wanted to know that we had the opportunity to, but yeah, we're going to bounce.
So looking at the current playoff standings, because we're kind of getting into that part of the NFL season where we're going to be looking at the playoff standings because we're kind of in that stretch run now.
Yep.
In the NFC, this is the order right now. You have the Rams 1, Eagles 2, Bears 3, Bucks 4, Seahawks 5, Packers 6, Niners 7, Detroit 8, Carolina 9.
Yeah.
Who do you see out of that group not making it? Chicago, most likely? Because right now it's 7-4. Detroit's on the outside looking in, and should they not beat the Packers on Thanksgiving, Detroit can actually miss the playoffs this year, depending on how everything falls.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of teams that feasibly miss the playoffs for, let's see.
So the only team, like, out of those top 8, the only team that I think that would miss would be Chicago and Detroit just swapping. Just because Tampa Bay, I think, wins their division outright. The Rams are going to be in. The Eagles will be in. Seattle, Green Bay will be in. San Francisco most likely gets in, which basically leaves, I think, Detroit and Chicago is battling it out for one of the wild card spots, if anything.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Niners are getting healthy at the right time.
I don't see Dallas leapfrogging all those teams. I don't see Dallas leapfrogging all those teams, even though they played well against Philly yesterday. I don't see Dallas leapfrogging all those teams. So I really do think it'll be Chicago and Detroit will be the final 2 teams battling it out for that spot.
Well, I mean, yes, it's it probably will be. The way that this is looking is it looks like the NFC West is going to send 3. And then, yeah, basically you either have to win the North or you're probably a game out.
No, because North will send 2. Because it'll be the Packers and Bears now, or the Packers and
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, the Packers will probably go, and then it'll probably be Detroit. I have a hard time buying the Bears only because, and of course I've said this before too, is Williams has a real issue where he is solid for the scripted plays. So the first 12 to 15 plays, he seems to execute those fairly well.
Half too.
Not
it seems
necessarily
like they
amazing,
script like the first 15 plays of the game, and then the start of the second half, it seems like they script another 15 plays. That's why they stinking come out firing both halves.
Well, no, and that's what I mean. Is it looks like they every team has scripted plays to start the game, right? Like they have a tone they want to set to start it out, and then they kind of see what the other team does and adjust from there. But those first like 10 to 15 plays, he seems to execute those pretty well. But when it becomes, as soon as those are done and it's you're calling in game situations, the quality of play drops way off, right? And then it does look like there are maybe some scripted plays for the second half. And then as soon as they're done with those, it again just falls way off. And I think it's going to be tough when you're playing better teams to get the wins. Now, at the same time, like they do have a couple of good wins, so it's not like they've only played trash teams or anything like that. But I have a hard time buying them just because they're not consistent at all. It's also why I struggle with the Broncos, because 45 minutes they don't play offense, and then the last 15 they're like, oh yeah, we should do things. So like I have a hard time buying them for a actual playoff run. Are they going to get in the playoffs? Of course, right? They have that almost locked up at this point, but I just don't buy them as getting a good run, because when you start playing playoff teams, you can't just not play for 45 minutes on offense.
Yeah. Then you see the AFC standings too right now. Look who slides into the number 4 spot, the Baltimore Ravens, who were sitting at 1-5 at one point this season. But then we said once Lamar Jackson came back, they were entering that soft spot of the schedule. And what have they done? They've gone 5-0 in that soft spot of the schedule.
Yeah, Joe, I love the optimism, man, but the Cowboys ain't making the playoffs. There's too many better teams in the NFC.
And then look at the AFC too, like the 5 through 10 seeds. Any one of those three can get in. Like Chargers and Jags 7-4, Bills 7-4, Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs all 6-5. Like that playoff race, I think is going to be interesting. Those final 3 spots.
Well, yeah, of course, because the AFC has a lot of just incomplete teams. Like there's a lot of inconsistent play with.
Well, and they play each other though. Like the Chiefs and Chargers got to play each other. The Texans and Chiefs got to play each other. Yeah. Like I think the Ravens and Steelers got each other like once more. Like that. Like the NFC for the most part, I think 6 of the 7 teams that are going are pretty much solidified at this point. It's just going to be like 2 teams, maybe 3 teams battling for that 7th spot at the end. The AFC right now has 3 teams that I think are legitimately in, like the Patriots, the Broncos, and Colts. I think are the only 3 teams that are solidified to be in right now. But then the rest of the AFC right now is so wide open because so many teams got to play each other these last 5 weeks where they could knock each other out by beating them or losing to somebody else and that whatnot.
Well, no, that's why that Colts game was so important for KC, because not only was it a win that they absolutely have to keep the playoff hopes alive anyway, but it was a conference win, so that if it comes down to tiebreakers, they have more conference wins, right? Like if it would have been an NFC team, it wouldn't have mattered as much when it comes to, just the way tiebreakers go. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to talk baseball when it matters. We're just
quite a ways technically
from that.
Right now, since there was a big trade yesterday.
Yeah, we'll save it.
Since the Mets.
That being said, we are in the closing minutes. So I mean, I guess if you want to mention it, because there's a
the Mets traded for Marcus Semien yesterday in exchange for Brandon Nimmo, I believe. I'm just going to find out the correct person before I say anything. Marcus Simeon for Brandon Nimmo, which it's an interesting trade just because the Mets are taking on more money when the Mets kind of took on a lot of money last year and it did not work in their favor, and now they're taking on another high-paying contract in Simeon. So, granted, Nimmo was on a pretty big deal himself, but not anywhere close to what Simeon was getting. So I kind of don't understand the viewpoint on the Mets here, especially when they do need help with starting pitching and other parts of their roster. So, hey, you added a good offensive bat, but you're taking out a lot more money in the process, which is going to make things interesting for free agency.
Absolutely. On the NHL front, the Kraken are still on pace to set the overtime games. They went into another one yesterday, which means 10 of their first 22 games have been overtime games, which is crazy. And then on another, sport news, the WNBA had their draft lottery yesterday, and the Storm end up with the third overall pick, giving them 2 first-round picks, a second-round team. Interesting, because, well, they still don't have a CBA, so it better be a deep draft because
that's what I was going to say.
Veterans coming back.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, does the NBA draft lottery? Well, it does matter now, but like, this is the year where the NBA draft lottery matters more than it ever has, because with no CBA, it might be all rookies or a couple like people under rookie contracts playing in the league next year.
Yep. And I'm with you. Like, I can't get into baseball. Honestly, I can't even get into basketball right now. Some of it, yeah, okay, we don't have the Sonics, so there's some bias there. Yeah. But even college hoops, which is entertaining, I have a hard time getting into during football season, right? Like, you get me into being at March Madness coming and all of that. That's when I get into it. But yeah, I have a hard time getting into basketball this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of time for baseball to figure stuff out. Another thing that has a CBA that is going to be heavily watched as well. So it's a year away from it being a problem, but it's already a problem.
I was going to say it's more than already a problem.
Oh, yeah. That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. Be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. Otherwise, we are going to get out of here. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.